A possible Pac-12 championship is on the line with Stanford hosting Washington tonight. We've got some halftime analysis. We bring in Donald King from Last Word on College Football with Washington leading Stanford 14-10. Don, always love talking football with you. Thought we might squeeze in a few comments here at halftime. Your initial thoughts.
Yeah, good game. Not unlike what I expected. Thought it was going to be a tough one. I actually liked Stanford in this game to cover and to win outright. Of course, that was before Bryce Love tweaked that ankle again and headed back to the sideline and hasn't been back in. Not a good look, and there's only so much you can do when your game is built on speed and elusiveness, and you got a bad wheel. It just doesn't work all that well. Stanford's front seven was getting gashed early, but some late adjustments by Coach Anderson seemed to have slowed things down a little bit there later in the second quarter. So should be an interesting second half. I think this one's going to turn on turnovers and which defense remains most stout the rest of the way.
So KJ Costello appears to me to be the guy that should have been starting for quite some time or the entire season. He just looks the part. He's mobile. He gets away from defenders, doesn't seem to panic, delivers the ball. He threw a couple risky throws near the sideline back to the middle of the field, but I guess if they're completed, then they work and you move on from there.
Yeah, he's a bit of a gunslinger, and I got to tell you, man, he rifled a couple of balls in there that were not held on to, one by Whiteside Arcega and another one by Trenton Irwin, and those are the most sure-handed receivers. He gets some zip on that thing, so he gets there with a purpose, but most importantly, he has by far been the most accurate of the three quarterbacks who have seen time this season. And given that he's got apparently the arm strength to get it there and it's the most accurate, as long as he's mastered the playbook, he's the guy who ought to be pulling the trigger.
Arcega Whiteside, very impressive. Obviously, he's the deep threat, and he's the guy that can make the big plays in this offense.
Yeah, that one on the left side down the sideline was fantastic. Great play, good read by Costello, good ball, and a fantastic catch. He did a really nice job on that one.
I'm going to be interested to see, Don, Washington's play down the stretch. They haven't played anyone. You could argue that their best wins either UCLA or Oregon, but starting tonight with Stanford, and even though it's a close game, they look what they've been built to be at this point with Chris Peterson churning out some NFL talent. I know that they've gotten a bad rap nationally, and for myself, I think they're too highly ranked at number 9 because of the schedule they've played, but they can be that good. They still have a very athletic team, a very stout front seven on defense still.
Yeah, they're legitimate. Browning, people rag on him a little bit, but the kid wins a ton. You saw that he's about to take the all-time lead in touchdown passes at Washington at some point. If not in this game, then in the next game or two, he's gonna snatch that record. But more than that, he's a winner. The thing that's impressed me, I knew all about Gaskin, but those two other running backs they've got are fantastic. So they're stacked. You got those two guys. You got Gaskin. You got Browning pulling the trigger, and you got Pettis on the outside. Those are a lot of weapons. They're a legitimate team, and we knew the defense was good, and candidly, it's been a little bit impressive that Costello's been able to get so much rolling against them. They're stout, no question.
Don King from Last Word on College Football, breaking down just a half of football, but it's been entertaining and should be even more so in the second half. Washington 14, Stanford 10. Of course, both teams still in play in the Pac-12 North. Washington would be the lone survivor in terms of the national scene in the college football playoff. What are we going to see here in the second half, Don? And keep me honest if they hit the field here. I don't want you to miss anything.
Yeah, it's not on in my house right at the moment, so I'll sign off and go flip it back on. Like I said, Stanford's going to need turnover, a turnover or two. They're going to need a +1 or +2 turnover margin to win this game, particularly without Love. It does look like if it needs to be placed on Costello's shoulders to win it, he might be up to the challenge. Spates is good. Scarlett is good. The running backs are solid sitting behind Love. They're just not, first-team All-Americans like number 20 is. So it may need Stanford's passing game. They're going to have to get a takeaway or two, I think, to win this one, though. Washington's a really good football team.
Appreciate it, Don. Enjoy the second half.
Indeed. Thank you, Mark. You too.